My name is Jonathan Brentley. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I was raised in a neighborhood called Joy Road. It was at an early age when I realized right away I never wanted to be like Michael Jordan or Michael Vick. At about the age of 14, I knew right then and there the people I inspired to be. And at an early age, I knew I wanted to be like my brother JR as well as my cousin Juan. And those was my role models. And from what they had and the way they made it seem, I wanted everything that came along with the field they chose to be in. And that's everything from the money, the cars, and I think most importantly, what I fell in love with was the spotlight. And it was about the age of 14 when I started selling drugs. And with living that lifestyle, I learned the hard way that you gotta take everything that come along with it. And that's from going through juvenile detention centers at the age of 16 to being extradited to county jail still as a minor, and then eventually lead me to a prison at the age of 18 years old. And I don't think the worst part was going to prison at age 18. The worst part that really stuck with me, that hurted me the most, is that time when I got incarcerated. My son's mother was 3 months pregnant. And at that point in my life, I knew that each decision that I made from that point on, it not only just affected me, but I was living with purpose from there. Because now I knew that if I made a decision and it was going in the wrong direction, it could possibly put me in a situation where I gotta spend more time away from my first child. And I remember being in jail and I was just asking, like, I knew I wanted to change. I just didn't know which direction I was gonna go in. And I remember I started praying. I never was raised in church, and I mean, my grandma was a Jehovah's Witness, but we wasn't raised in that. And I remember I just always heard that, if you need help, pray to God. And I started going, and it was crazy because I got transferred to a Christian dorm. And that wasn't a request, that was just somehow that ended up happening. I got transferred to a Christian dorm, and there was a preacher that came in one day, and his name was Pastor Norman Wilson. And I remember on the exact day, it was April 14, 2011, the day I gave my life to God. And I started asking for just guidance. Show me a different route, because the only thing I knew at that time was sell dopes and how to double up. Not knowing exactly which direction I'm going in, I just knew I had to work because I knew I needed income quick. Because in the back of my head, if I didn't provide, I knew what was waiting for me. And I remember my first job was at Popeye's Chicken on Lee Road in Orlando, and I started off making $7.57 an hour. And to me personally, that was my first time ever getting a real check. So that was I liked that money, $200 a week, more than $1,000, because that was my first real check. And I remember my first year filing my taxes, and I was sitting down with an accountant, and he was kind of hearing about my story, and he got to kind of telling me about as far as how under his mentorship, he can help set me up for success. And that following year, I got enrolled with my classes with Jackson Hewitt to start getting properly trained on how to actually prepare taxes. And from there, when I look back, that meeting, if it wasn't for those 30 minutes to an hour sitting down with that man, and him introducing me into the tax preparation account services, I don't know if I would have, I'm curious of how it would have turned out. I started out of the back of my car, out of 2003 Chevy Impala. I had a laptop and I had a printer I bought. And I used to be going to people's houses with my laptop and actually walking my printer up the stairs, doing taxes in Panera Bread and Starbucks. And as I look back 5 years later, sometimes I don't even believe what God had took me to and the doors he done opened. As far as not just starting off with me doing it by myself to operating with a full team to collectively probably over a dozen people with multiple locations. And when I think about it, I knew it couldn't have been nothing but God. And I never really understood the reason behind it. But after opening up and sharing my story with different people and seeing how, by the things that I've been through, was beneficial to some people that might not experience the same thing or possibly even worse, and to see how that it all started tying in, that knowing that what I've been through wasn't by accident. I had to go through that in order to get to where I'm at today. And knowing all the risks and all the chances I took and the positive and the negative that came along with it, it showed me that what you've been through could help and inspire someone else. And at that point, that's when I made a decision from not just to share with the people in my circle, and my family, my friends, but I decided to actually write it and put it on paper. So I just want to announce that 2019, Jonathan Brentley, I'll be writing my first book. It'll be called Chances Make Champions, from a 6x6 to 6 figures.